Chapter 21, The New Scriptures as Given by Jesus, Sananda, transcribed by Catherine E. May, PSYD, October 22nd, 2013. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for a people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them to another, the spirit of those words ring in the consciousness of all the people on the planet Earth in this year, 2013. Whether it echoes within the hearts of the American people whose Declaration of Independence inspired these eloquent words, or whether it rises in the inspiring calls to freedom across the Middle East, or it fuels the expressions of hope for insurgents in African nations where peace and dignity remain elusive, the spirit of freedom grows. It is the year of the new beginning, beloved ones. It is the year which will be remembered as the beginning of new freedom, of throwing off the yoke of oppression, whether it be social, political, economic, or psychological. As the events unfold in the coming weeks, you will gain new appreciation for the connection between these seemingly separate areas of life. There are artificial divisions, for instance, between the fields of study in your schools, as if learning about social issues were somehow separate from politics, and as if economics were an esoteric field relevant only to college professors and the secretaries of the treasuries of world powers. Nothing could be further from the truth. All human mankind will be astonished to discover how one's family life and day-to-day well-being have been profoundly affected by the currency value of foreign countries, for instance. The details of international trade agreements may have been of no interest to you, but your work, your food, and the state of your health are profoundly affected anyway. The veil of forgetfulness is falling away. Many of you are already beginning to remember past lives and are sensing the echoes of past relationships in your interactions with people in your current lives. It will be a revelation to you when you begin to learn through your own awakening and through the coming contact with your galactic friends that your history is not at all what you have been taught. In spite of astonishing discoveries like the underwater pyramids of Atlantis, your scientists continue to ignore whatever revelations do not agree with the limited understandings they have clung to. It is an irony, is it not, that the creator race can be so conservative in thinking that you are reluctant to change your minds even when the evidence is presented in clear photographs by perfectly reputable people. It can be difficult to leave your pet teachings behind. One of the myths that remain present in the minds of humanity is the belief that anyone not of your planet and not of your exact species, human mankind, must by definition be strange, foreign, and dangerous to you. Alien is a dirty word in your lexicon. Do you ever stop to think about what those beings in the ships which are so famously darting about in the skies think of when they observe you? Who has more reason to be afraid? You, who have bombed each other for centuries and who have developed sophisticated weapons to wipe out anything that comes within range of your Star Wars technology, or the beings who have quietly observed from a distance in their stunningly advanced wonders of technology engineering? Many of you reading this have suspected that any civilization which could travel thousands of light years to arrive here may also be emotionally, socially, politically, and spiritually more advanced than your own planet, although this obvious truth is hard for many to accept. You see, advanced technology and your first thoughts turn to war. You see, this is the residue of reptilian ideology still active in your minds. It was the reptilian leaders who oversaw the shooting down of the few uncloaked ships that came within range. They came to make contact and to peacefully offer their technologies for the greater good. What resulted was the massive cover up of a multi-trillion-dollar program in reverse engineering, which has been used to build more advanced weaponry than you can even imagine, and it has gone on now for more than 50 years. If you had not been brainwashed to fear aliens through constant propaganda, it would have been perfectly obvious to every one of you that your space brothers and sisters were here out of concern for you and for the safety of the entire universe. Fear has blinded you to the truth that nuclear testing created tremendous pain and destruction to Mother Earth and all her creatures. Had you not been trained to feel suspicion, mistrust, and fear of your fellow humans, you would have all been crying and rioting in the streets at the first mushroom cloud to appear in the skies, rather than proudly applauding your government's superior achievements. Similarly, if you had not been deliberately threatened with starvation, you never would have agreed to the unholy development and patenting of artificially created frankenfoods. Highly developed civilizations throughout of the multiverse take it for granted that all sources of sustenance, all access to medical care, all education of the young, and all natural resources are to be shared, developed only for the greater good, and never hoarded or privately owned. But of course, this is an expression of the unity consciousness of civilizations which has reached higher levels of spiritual development. It is the work of ascension to raise yourselves up to a consciousness awareness in which you can grasp the givenness of love and light that exists in the universe at large. Only here on Earth and a few other places which have experienced three-dimensional life are intelligent beings so bound to the experience of the five senses. Think of it, dear ones. As you elevate yourselves to higher dimensional awareness, you will enter into a world inhabited by billions of others, beings of all shapes and sizes who have traveled the path to unity, consciousness through their own efforts to ascend, just as you are doing now. They are friends, teachers, and experts in the very issues you are becoming aware of now. Not only do you not wish to harm you, not only do they not wish to harm you, they have traveled across the galaxies, across dimensions, to be here to observe and to help out in any way they can. Some are closer to you genetically and experimentally than others, but it does not matter. All are benevolent, all exist in love and light. As a matter of fact, Earth has the privileged possession of being surrounded and protected by the Ashtar Command. Our dear brother Ashtar is the supreme commander of the organization which oversees the starships of the Intergalactic Federation of Light, which is here to make sure that no negative energies, no outside invaders will be allowed to interfere with your ascension. Yes, there are a few bothersome groups around the cosmos similar to the reptilians who caused such havoc here in the past. They are without exception entities from lower vibrational dimensions who have developed some advanced technologies without having gained the wisdom and maturity to know how to join in the cooperative and loving fellowship of the cosmic family of light. You see, it is always the lesson to be learned by entities in lower dimensions that more evolved beings are also more benevolent than they are themselves, and that cooperation and friendship are always more satisfying than brute force. We always work with them to teach patience, tolerance, and love, but when a planet is in ascension, it must not be disturbed. Our Mother Earth is at last free to stretch herself, cleanse herself of the eons of toxins and destruction she has tolerated, and enjoy a newly established bond of high vibrational unity with other planets. She is reveling in the experience, she is reveling in the experience of love and light which the fifth dimension offers. Like you, Mother Earth has yearned for the sense of completion you are beginning to discover. She is generous in her gifts to her human inhabitants, but she does have a mind of her own, as you might say. She has waited patiently as you slowly awaken to the need to eliminate the dangerous weaponry and destructive energy policies that have caused such damage to her surface. Every explosion, every drilling into the depths of her body is felt just as you would feel it, with excruciating pain. Every oil spill leaves her sickened physically and emotionally. Every toxic chemical spill and airborne release of poisons causes her distress. She suffers when the planet and the plants and the animal kingdoms endure trauma, for they are her children too. As you awaken, you will notice the great sense of relief and joy your mother is feeling at your graduation into higher consciousness. You are all in this together, as you might say. The environmentalists were right about all being in this ship together, although you may now understand that Earth is not the only home you have experienced. Once you ascend to a higher dimension, you may become one who will return on the great ships to your home planet in the embrace of your star family. If you are one who has grown attached to this experience of life on Earth, you may have already committed to returning to help those who have not yet ascended. Even though we all originated from far-flung places, this very special small planet does exercise a hold on us. There is a special charm, a special beauty here on the blue planet. You might say we have experienced our finest hour here, working together through lifetime after lifetime, slogging through the dark times, through hardship and deprivation to ultimate triumph. We have succeeded, my beloved family, in our blessed endeavor. We have been through the great challenges, and we have managed to remain in faith and in love. Now is the time for us to stretch out our arms to the sky, to rejoice in our friendship, and to breathe the great love of our Creator, who smiles on us with unending benevolence. Let us turn to each other in gratitude and forgiveness, for each player in this great drama has taken his or her turn in the spotlight, for better or worse. Each one has contributed to the great expansion of knowledge and experience. Each has a precious part in the historic story of the fall and ultimate rise of Mother Earth and of her human children. I congratulate you. I appreciate you. I love you beyond measure. I have known the companionship and love of all of you, and it has created an internal bond of love between us. We are truly one. I am Sananda. I am with you always. Transcribed by Catherine E. May, October 22nd, 2013. www.whoneedslight.org.